So the sister asked a question. She said, sisters are not allowed to work in haram environments. So what do they do in that situation when they, when they need money to live? They can't rely upon their parents or whatever have you. So what do they do? So there's two fundamentally wrong things with regards to this. And then I'll answer the question about how to make the money, right? But it's two foundational issues that are really problematic that we need to address, that are the foundational cause of this. The first issue is this, is that women shouldn't have to provide for themselves. Women shouldn't have to provide for themselves. Your father's job is to provide for you. Okay? Your father's job is to provide for you. If you're in a situation where your family needs a bit of extra help or whatever have you, I understand. But just know that the default position here is that the men need to start being men, provide. Of course, I know there are some situations where it's out of your control as even a man, and as a father maybe you can't provide. I'm not talking about these external kind of situations, I'm not. But I'm just speaking generically. I know brothers are going to watch this online as well, so I have to make this point. Men need to start being men. Men need to start being men. Some men are out there, they've got their wives working. They've got their daughters working. What kind of a man are you that you expect your daughter to contribute towards your rent? What is this? Now, like I said, there are some, and obviously you know your situation better than anyone else. Maybe there's a disability. Maybe the father's sick, he's old, or whatever. Maybe there's problems and you want to help. You're allowed to help, no problem. But the default is this thinking. We have this Western thinking that a lot of the parents have. You live here, you provide. No. You're the wali of the girl, you have to provide. And if the father can't, then the brother needs to do it. He's next. The brother should be the one who are providing. The brother should be the one who's providing. That's one fundamental issue. Another fundamental issue is that maybe, it's true, maybe you're grown up now, so your expenses are higher. When you were a child, your dad could look after you. He just had to buy you a Barbie doll every now and again, a little dollhouse, a little outfit here or whatever have you. Your father would not have to buy much, but now he has to pay for your tuition fees, he has to pay for your car, your petrol. So it becomes a lot. So I also understand from the angle of the dad. So now dad's like, look, I've got 4 or 5 daughters and kids to take care of. So now it's time to get married. Because the next guy who should be providing for you is your husband. Is your husband. Sister, just get married, man, wallahi. Just try to get married. You know what the problem is though? I know a lot of you are going to be like, well, I'm trying to get married. Wallahi, you're doing it in the wrong places, man. You're getting married, you're trying to look for husbands on Instagram. Say that again? Yeah. That I heard some app where it's a halal dating app. Halal dating app. There's nothing halal about it. You know what you're gonna find on there? Wallahi, you're gonna find the most evil of guys. Sisters, wallahi, you want to find a righteous husband? Do you want to? I promise you, fix yourself, wallahi. Become righteous yourself. I remember I read a quote one time. And it was powerful, man. I don't even think it was some scholar who said it. I think it sounded like something the sister would say, but it was powerful. I read it like 7 or 8 years ago. It said that a woman should be so lost in her relationship with Allah that a man has to go to Allah to find her. I'm saying, trust me, Allah will bring the guy to you when you fix yourself. Look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the pure women are for the pure men, and the pure men are for the pure women. You want a guy who's good, who's going to take care of you, right? You need to be reaching your levels. And I say the same thing to the brothers. Brothers are out there, Awan and Niqabi, memorize the Quran, memorize Bukhari. It's akhi, you can't even recite Fatiha properly. So you're dreaming. Be a bit real. You want a guy who's going to provide for you, right? Who's going to be fulfilling your rights. Are you a woman who, when you get married, are you going to fulfill your husband's rights? Have you been cultivated to the point where you're going to be obedient to him? Because your right is that you get provided for, right? His right is that you obey him. Are you a woman who, when you get married, you're going to be obedient to your husband? Are you? Fix these things in yourself. Make sure you work on this. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to oppress a man who's righteous by giving him a woman who's going to be crazy and drive him up the wall. It's not fair on him. So correct your affairs, and Allah will correct yours. But the point is, look for marriage. And look for it in a correct way. Sisters, stop being hasid. You have brothers. If you know sisters who are looking to get married, help them. Help them. I married my sister off to one of my friends. I saw he was struggling. He needed to get married. I have a sister. I know he's a righteous brother. So I matched them up. Actually, it was him. My brother did it. But I took the credits for it because I performed the nikah. So everyone told me it was me. But really it was him. The point is that do that. Put your hand up if you have a brother who's looking to get married. None of your brothers are looking to get married. Your brothers are not at the age of marriage. Put your hand up if your brother's at the age of marriage. Okay, now put your hand down, right? That's a social experiment. Pretty much all you put your hands up. Put your hand up if you want to get married. If you're at the age of marriage. It's all of you, right? Again, even though you're not putting up your hand, I know you want to. The point is that imagine you just helped each other. Because look what the Prophet said. The Prophet said, Wallahu ta'ala fi awni al-abd, ma kan al-abd fi awni akhi. The Prophet said, Allah will aid his slave as long as his slave aids his brother. And of course, his sister implies in this as well. So pay attention. If you aid your sister to get married, Allah will aid you to get married. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to recommend your brother or sister to your brother. And then you expect other sisters to do that for you. I'm saying these are fundamental issues that we can overcome. By the way, never make the mistake of directly putting your brother in touch with the sister. Yeah? Always put your brother in touch with the sister's dad. Because then you'll create fasad and fitna. So sisters, you need to get married, inshallah ta'ala, and find a man in the right way. The third issue is that you shouldn't be living in this country. You shouldn't be living in this country. If you try to find a halal job in Pakistan, you can find one. If you want to find a halal job in Bangladesh, you can find one. If you want to find a halal job in Saudi Arabia, you can find one. We don't live in a halal country. So stop building your dreams here. Hijrah is obligatory. I told you guys last time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَوَفَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. Then when the angels come and they take the souls of the people, they oppressed themselves, they sinned, they were sinners, they were in these haram jobs, they were doing these haram things. And then it said, قَالُوا فِيمَا كُنْتُمْ. They asked about their situation, why were you doing these sins? Why were you doing these things? Why do you have these haram jobs? Why are you going to uni taking loans? Why are you doing these things? Why are you falling into zina? Why are you doing X, Y, Z? And the people say, قَالُوا كُنَّا مُسْتَضْعَفِينَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. They said we were weak on the land. It was the land that we lived in. We didn't have much options. We lived in England. They told me, I have to take off my niqab, take off my jilbab, if I go to work, if I do this, I do that, X, Y, Z. So I didn't have much options. And then look at what the angels will say. At the time of death, at the time they're taking their souls out, they will say, قالوا, they will say, أَلَمْ تَكُنْ أَرْضُ اللَّهِ وَاسِعَةً فَتُهَاجِرُوا فِيهَا. They will say, was the earth of Allah not wide enough that you can go to a different place? That you could do hijrah, you could move to a Muslim country? Then they don't take no excuses. فَأُولَٰئِكَ مَأْوَاهُمْ جَهَنَّمْ. They say these people are going to go to the hellfire. وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا. Sisters, it's not a joke. Please, no one misunderstand what I'm saying to say, oh, go do hijrah and go to Syria. Okay? Because like some really silly, naive sisters did. You guys heard about it, right? In East London, they did, then they went. I'm not saying that. I'm saying go to Malaysia. Do you know how nice life is in Malaysia? I've never been, but I heard from people like Malaysia seems like the place to live, man. How do you go to Sharjah? I'm not saying these are perfect Muslim countries, but wallahi, you can live a good life there. Go to Riyadh, go to Jeddah. Wallahi, you will live a nice life there. It's not going to be 100% halal either. It's not, but it's better than here. So this is a fundamental issue. Does that make sense? I'll come to both of you, inshallah. I just want to finish this point. Now, these are the foundational issues that your dad should be providing, that you should get married and your husband should be providing for you. And number 3, you shouldn't be in this country, because if you do want to get a job, what's stopping you is the land that you're living in. Now I'm going to answer the question that you actually asked. Okay? Which is, what do you do if you can't leave the country and you're not married and you don't have a father who can provide? What do? You need the money now. What do you do? Okay, answer to that question is this. You come with the fear of Allah. Allah said, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهُ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهُ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Anyone who fears Allah, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهُ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا, Allah will find a way out for him. So for example, you're in a building and the building's burning and there's no exit. Suddenly Allah will make a fire exit for you so you can walk out of it. If you have taqwa. If you come with taqwa. What is taqwa? Taqwa means that you fear Allah. And because of the fear, you do all of the things He commanded you and you stay away from all of the things He told you to stay away from. That's a summary of the word taqwa. You fear Him, and that fear leads to doing all the obligatory and staying away from all the haram. Does that make sense? This is what we mean when we say taqwa. If you come with this, Allah said He'll find a way out. Then He said, وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. He will provide for you from ways and avenues that you never imagined. He will provide for you from ways and avenues that you never ever imagined. Sisters, what's Allah telling you in this ayah? If you're struggling financially, your job is not to try and get the money. That's not your concern. Your job is taqwa. Allah said, whose job is it to bring the money? Whose job is it to bring the money? Allah. What's Allah's name? Ar-Razaq, the one who provides. What's your name? Al-Abd, a slave. And what does a slave do? The slave comes to taqwa. That's the problem. That doesn't mean you don't work. That doesn't mean you don't apply for jobs. That doesn't mean you don't look around for halal jobs. No, you do that. That's the means. But the means actually being successful. Like how many times do people make sure that they're healthy, then they get cancer, right? So it shows you're not in control of the goal. You take the means, but Allah is in control. So you take the means, doesn't mean the money will come. Allah will bring it though. Your job is to work on taqwa. And sisters, wallahi, for those of you who are struggling financially, Ramadan is the month of taqwa, man. Allah said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Oh, you who believe, Allah told you to fast. Why? So you can have taqwa. Fasting brings taqwa. And I've got a lecture online, inshallah ta'ala, called The Secret of Fasting. And I advise you guys to all watch that, because that's what the whole lecture is about. How fasting brings this quality of taqwa. So the whole month of Ramadan, if you watch that lecture and you work towards actually attaining taqwa in that month of Ramadan, then by the end of the month you have taqwa and you're in a position for Allah to provide for you. And sisters, that's not just the rizq that Allah is going to provide you is not just money. It's also a spouse, a husband. Rizq, what comes under that? What comes under that is not just money, it's also a husband. It's also children. And it's funny because sisters want a husband and they're coming with the opposite of taqwa. They're doing haram to get a husband. Just come to Allah first. Allah will bring you a man the likes of which you never imagined. Every day I get emails, every day. And I've been getting these emails non-stop, every single day for the last 4.5, 5 years. Every day for the last 4.5, 5 years. Sisters telling me there was a guy, either she didn't marry him and he played her or messed her up, or she married him and he played her and he messed her up. Every day this is an email that I get. And wallahi, I became fed up of responding. Fed up of making videos, because literally the answer that I give every time is the same, copy and paste it. You found him in the wrong way. The quality of the man you attracted by means of how you went about looking for a man in the first place was why you ended up with this guy who played you either before marriage or after marriage. What else can I say? You were told, stop hanging around in shisha cafes. You were told, stop being bait on the streets. You were told, stop putting up selfies of yourself. So, you were told all these things. But you didn't listen. And now you're heartbroken, you're pregnant, abortion, this, that, he left you, divorced you, 3 children, divorced you. Well, what can I say to you? One sister messaged me. This is the last one that I tried to message to, right? I took seriously. A guy, he came out of jail. She married him. What were you thinking? He was in jail. If he came out of jail and he changed his life, I want to see him. I'm not going to marry him straight away. I'm gonna wait a year or two. Are you sure you're not gonna go back to selling drugs and whatnot? And like, cause it's a cycle. Sadly, I have to observe. That guy was in jail. Furthermore, I actually think, if I'm not mistaken, she married him whilst he was in jail. She married him whilst he was in jail. Because you know, when you come to the end of your sentence, they let you come home and come out on the weekends. So he was out for a few days. She married him. I'm like, you married a guy in jail. Then in the end, he played her, 3 kids, divorced her. So what else do you want? Does that make sense? So you come with taqwa, Allah will bring the man for you, and Allah will bring your rizq for you. Sister, does that answer your question?